Good morning and welcome to Love Every Moment, coming to you today from Montreal, Quebec. Today's verse is Romans 12:15. Rejoice with those who rejoice and weep with those who weep. Well, this might sound a bit familiar, and yes, it should, because Paul himself also covered this same idea in 1 Corinthians 12 when he talks about the church functioning like a body, like hands and eyes and feet and every other part of the body. And when he gets down to verse 26, he says, and if one member suffers, all the members suffer with it. If one member is honored, all the members rejoice with it. It's a very similar idea, but he builds more into it in the Corinthians passage because he's talking about the body. So let me start off by saying that I personally feel that there is a gift involved with some people, a gift of empathy, a gift of sensitivity. It's not officially listed amongst the gifts in the Bible, but I could tell you this. There are people in my life that could come up to a perfect stranger and just know that that stranger is suffering. And then I can't tell. And they say to me, well, it's obvious. Can't you see it in their eyes? No. I've got all the sensitivity of a cactus. So I think some people have that gifting, and that's an important gifting in the body because sometimes there's people like me that can't tell. And on that note, if you are suffering in church and you're hoping that people can just tell without telling them yourself, well, you got to understand there may be a bunch of cacti in the church like me who can't tell. You need to vocalize it. Hey, I'm going through a hard time. Once someone tells me, then I can say, oh, let me pray for you. What can I do for you? Can I go out and buy you some groceries or whatever it is? So you have to vocalize that with certain people. But I started meditating on today's verse to see how could I fulfill this even more. And the more I meditated on it, the Lord brought me back to my best friend, Greg. And he was my best friend for 28 years. Unfortunately, he passed during the COVID years. But Greg and I were very close. We were like brothers. And we got to that point where we rejoiced when one was rejoicing and suffered when the other was suffering. For example, when I got my master's degree, he rejoiced with me. He didn't have any degree beyond high school, and yet he was never jealous. He took me out to dinner and we celebrated. It was a great relationship. Then when he got divorced, I could see how much that just shook him for a loop. And I had him stay over and, he could pour his heart out to me. We got to the point where I got to know him so well that I could tell, oh, wow, I know you're suffering. And he was welcome in my house at any time and unannounced. And if he needed money, of course, he could have it. If he needed to borrow some item from me, of course, he could have it. We shared everything because we had that deep relationship of brotherly love. Now, imagine if this affected an entire church, if a church had that kind of love with one another. First of all, you can't really get to that point by being just a Sunday go to church type of church. It has to be a real investment of time and love where you're going to each other's homes and you are investing that time and love within the body. I've seen that happen with all of my travels and going to different churches, probably 5 times. But it's wonderful when it happens because I could tell even as a stranger going in, wow, this is a church that practices loving one another and they are a true body, not just a group of people coming together. They're functioning as a body of love, the way Christ wanted it to happen. So because of that, let's choose to love every moment because then we're going to love every moment. I'm your average Rich, and I hope you have a great week.